We are concerned about the first, second, third weeks of school. We do not know what the enrollment will be like. We know many parents may have already left our community. They may have self-deported. We don't know what that will be, and that could be somewhat disruptive this school year. We hope that through our communication efforts, our awareness efforts, information, and the direct counseling with students and parents, that we'll be able to provide stable attendance for kids in our community.
Well, the LA Unified School District now experiencing an enrollment crisis, losing hundreds of thousands of students. Let's bring in the author of Domestic Extremists, one of America's great writers, Peachy Keenan, California GOP delegate and attorney Elizabeth Barkahana, and Moms for Liberty Bergen County Chair Alexandra Bauer. Thank you all for coming on. Peachy, to you first. You kind of heard the intro there. The deportation is just the tip of the iceberg here. LAUSD enrollment over the past 10 years down 27%. That means in 30 years, the schools just disappear, Peachy.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears. I mean, this is like actually great news to see this statistic shrinking. It doesn't educate the kids. It does educate them a few things like Transgender History Month, which is coming up in October. Everyone can look forward to that. There's a reason why people have pulled their kids out. And it's $45,000 a year that we spend in LAUSD alone per child per year.
It's kind of crazy. The LA Times writes the following here, Elizabeth. Despite LAUSD losing more than 300,000 students since its peak enrollment 23 years ago, the number of operating schools has declined only slightly, less than 5%. This mismatch contributes to underutilized campuses and thinly spread district resources. In other words, we've got these skeleton schools all over Los Angeles County, and these kids aren't coming back.
It's as if it doesn't occur to them to improve the academic performance of their schools in order to attract the students to come back. In LA, we have a majority of kids, 57%, who are not proficient in English. 67% are not proficient in math. And instead of focusing on hard academics, they're doing things like a follower of mine on Instagram, a mom, told me that in her 4-year-old's TK class, they read a book called Red, which is a core LGBTQ curriculum. It's a book about a crayon having an identity crisis because its color on the outside doesn't match its color on the inside. That's what they're teaching 4-year-olds, and she's pulling her child because of that.
As she should. Alexandra, to you first, or to you now. Here's the father of the 8-year-old boy who was killed yesterday. His name is Fletcher Merkel, and the father had this to say. Watch.
Yesterday, a coward decided to take our 8-year-old son Fletcher away from us. Because of their actions, we will never be allowed to hold him, talk to him, play with him, and watch him grow into the wonderful young man he was on the path to becoming.
Alex, the father goes on to call the shooter a coward. We would add a coward filled with rage and hate, a dramatic amount of hate.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, unfortunately, we have a problem in this country where we're affirming mental illness and we're mixing it with cross-sex drugs. And these kids are just not okay anymore. The kids are just not okay. And I'm sure, you know, they are filled with rage and hate because they don't know how they feel about themselves. And parents are scared to send their children to school. They don't know what's going to happen to their children. It's supposed to be a safe place. And instead, these tragedies are happening.
Yeah, they really are. I wanted to play one more soundbite from the father. I wanted to give the question to Elizabeth here because, I mean, it really is heartrending. We want to watch this. This is, and you see Fletcher on the right-hand side of the screen. Here is the dad one more time.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
And you say it's time to name the demons who made the killer pull the trigger. What do you mean by that?
Yes, so this story weighs very heavy on my heart, as probably on every American. And you know, the day of this shooting was the first day of school for my children, so it's just particularly heartbreaking. What I mean by that is murdering children is a demonic act. And so you need to be able to know what you are fighting in order to solve the problem. The demons that pulled the trigger are things like anti-Christianity, anti-Western civilization, militant cultural Marxism, anti-Semitism, anti-Americanism, anti-Western civilization in general. And if we don't identify what the problems are, that relating back to what we said earlier, that is these schools have become Marxist indoctrination factories.
Right.
Add to that, this particular person was going through clearly a mental illness, and the transitioning of young people sets them on even social transitioning, sets them on a permanent path that they feel often that they cannot escape from.
Yeah.
And they become desperate, and they martyr themselves in these scenarios like this, like what happened.
I wonder, Alex, if it's the same. I know you're in Bergen County, New Jersey, and I'm wondering if there's this feeling that, wow, we are experiencing the same things in our blue cities and our unified school districts there.
We are facing that. You know, we are trying to get all of this woke ideology out of the schools. They're putting it in the books. They're putting it in the curriculum. They're really just shoving it down the children's throats, and they're shutting the parents out of the schools. And so parents are taking a stand. We're saying, you know, no more. We're going to tell you what's okay to teach our children, what's not okay to teach our children, and we're going to put a stop to this. We're going to take a stand now, and there's no more of this woke ideology. Yeah, meantime, you had Gavin Newsom asked if crime is a problem in California, and he had a little trouble answering, but here it is.
We're here because you're surging law enforcement across the state. So do you believe that crime is a problem in California or not?
Well, sort of a curious question. I made the entire point that crime's an issue and we want to tackle it.
Now it's an issue, Peachy. It's a big issue now. Wasn't 2 weeks ago.
Right. What's amazing is, I saw that today live, oh, you can do that now. Where was all this in 2020 to 2023 when our cities were burning down and every plate glass window in LA was smashed and looted? You could have done this and you chose not to, but now you're trying to compete to Trump. He's trying to be sort of like an ersatz Trump to fool everybody with that fake kind of Oval Office press conference thing. You know, no one's going to buy that. People vote for him because he's not Donald Trump. And so how can he square this, like, soft on crime, but also really getting tough now?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Peachy, Elizabeth, Alexandra, Alex, thank you all for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere.